We are live.
Hey guys, it's your girl Annette Harris of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. Listen, we have one show down and one more to go. Meet Apostle Deon and I, my co-host, at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are going to talk again about racial issues with interracial couples. Our panelists, Joe and Brandie McCord. Also, Adam and Nicky Harley. Our third couple will be Marcus Hill and Carmen Martinez. Listen, you don't want to miss this. 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, another opportunity to get caught in a net.
Hey guys, welcome to this special segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I am your host, Annette Harris. I want to thank you in advance for watching us, for listening, and I want to let you know that we appreciate you on this evening. Hey, this is the second show of the day, and I am so excited about this hot topic. Part 2, interracial couples versus racial tension. And I have solicited the help of my co-host, Apostle Deon Hunt, on this evening, and he is in the virtual house. How are you doing, Apostle?
I'm doing wonderful, Annette. Glad to be on the platform tonight. Ready to engage in some very insightful conversation.
All right. Well, that sounded good. You actually sound like you were doing a commercial there. Thank you so much. That was.
I'm working on my voice here.
And you are doing it. You're doing it. Yes. All right. And so, if you did not get a chance to listen to part 1 last month, we started off with the interracial couples. We have the same panelist as last time, and I'm just going to reintroduce them to you. If I can get my words out, we have Joe and Brandie McCord with us on this evening. How are you guys doing?
Good. Glad to be here.
Good. I'm so glad you all are here. I love this crew. I want you guys to know that. I'm sure you know already. I love you all so much. I really do. All right. And we're also looking at Adam and Nicky Harley there in the house. How are you all doing on this evening?
Good. Glad to be here.
Yay. I'm so glad you guys are here too. Woohoo. All right. And then, of course, my little brother over there and little sister, Marcus Hill, Carmen Martinez. How are you all doing?
Bueno.
Great.
Awesome.
Muy bien.
That was nice. I like that. That was good. Good. I'm so glad you guys are here. Listen, you guys that are here on the Facebook Live, I need you to click that share button. Click it. Of course, my panelists, I encourage you to share the live feed. If you have not done so, go ahead and click it. We want everybody to jump in on this conversation on tonight. We've got some great subtopics on tonight. Last month, as I stated, we started it out and there was so much that we did not even uncover. I don't want to say attempt because we did attempt to uncover it, but there was so much that goes into this entire topic itself. What with all that we're dealing with in the world, and how many of you thought about how it was impacting interracial couples? I'm going to be honest, I did not think about it. I'm not in an interracial relationship, so that was not at the forefront of my mind. But listening to these individuals, it gave me a whole different perspective. It really did. And to know what they're dealing with as they're being transparent with us, I think is very important. Now, I am seeing some names on here. I see you, Gloria. I see you, Cheryl. I see you, Auntie San. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. And Beatrice is on, Janetta. And there are some other names that obviously does not match up with the number. I'm grateful for that big number, but I don't see all the names. So if I didn't get a chance to call your name, just charge it to my head, not my heart. I'm sure maybe if you throw in, say, hey, I'm here, maybe I'll see who you are. But again, we thank you for joining us on tonight, and go ahead and make sure you share this out. So we're going to jump right in. Apostle, how about I throw the ball in your court? You ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Because we actually asked, let me say this first. We actually asked each couple to share with us what they actually wanted to touch on this evening, so that we can make sure we hear from everyone. I don't want to leave anybody out. Like Adam, I don't want to leave him out. So we want to make sure we hear from everybody on tonight. So we have some subtopics, and Apostle, why don't you start us off with some of these subtopics that we have?
Now, do you want to divulge who submitted the topic or no?
Well, how about I ask my panelists? Do you mind if we share your names?
We do not.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, this topic is not really a question, so I'm looking at it. So we just kind of want to discuss this, and this came from Brandie McCord. We want to discuss being accused of being disconnected from the struggle because of marrying outside of the struggle. Now, to kind of go into this really kind of, sent alarms off in me, because what some people may not know about me is I have been in an interracial relationship before, many moons ago, but I have, and I understand that accusation, because a lot of times what we do is we brace ourselves from the opposition for the opposition from the opposite race or the other race, but we're not really ready for what we might receive from our own race. And so can you kind of talk about some of the things that you had to deal with, the struggles and the accusations dealing from your own race in your interracial relationship?
Yes, I'm gonna, and I don't know if my experience is unique. I'm very curious about it. But when we're out, Joe and I, we get looks from everybody. We get looks from all races. Well, we get looks from whites, we get white people, we get looks from black people. The difference is when white people look, it's just they kind of caught themselves, like they were staring. And then when I look over, they, so they catch themselves, their look away or whatever. More often than not, when it's black people looking, if I look up and catch them, it's a
right.
Oh,
it's I want you to see me looking at you so you can know that I disapprove. I don't want to say that's universal, but it's happened to us. That's a regular occurrence for us. So it's not a makeup. It's not a, oh, well, you just had a couple of isolated incidents. No, that's pretty much, we can predict it. Because we can feel people looking. So we know when we look up what the reaction is going to be. I've had people, I've had a couple of, because I'm an artist, so I have a lot of artist friends, or I'm in a lot of artist circles. I've had people who felt that they got close enough to me to question, now we're cool now. So why I saw you posted blah, 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 but what you know about that? I mean, why are you acting like that bothers you? I'll shut it down in a minute, because obviously if you feel that comfortable, you obviously don't know me, because I'm going to treat your life and then talk about it for about 5-6 days in public. But people feel that I've never had a woman approach me. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I've had men love to, well, you know, this conversation ain't about you, or what do you know about blah, 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 as if me marrying Joe revokes my blackness, and all of a sudden all the experiences that I've dealt with leading up to marrying him don't exist anymore, as if I don't have black young men that I raised. So it completely, and it doesn't, they're just being petty and stupid. But I get that. I've gotten that a couple of times till I shut it down so dirty that nobody's saying it to me. Now, I don't know what's being said around, and I don't care. That's your issue. And it really sounds ignorant when you do it, but I don't get it anymore as much as I used to. But Joe and I have been in the house. When I say we've been in the house since this pandemic, we've been in the house. We've been in the house for months. So, and the world is kind of a different place before we went in. So, I don't know how that's going to affect people's reactions to us now.
I have a question for you, Brandie. Now, I know you, I know your personality. Now, were you always like that when people would, look at you like, basically questioning why you guys are together? Were you always that forthright? I'm not even gonna look at the siblings because they're probably gonna say, yeah.
Right, Nicky, what?
Okay. I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah, okay. She said forthright. No, she has always been forthright. has she always been this calm and together and let me think before I react? Absolutely not. Brandie was the last person you wanted to approach, especially when it comes to the race of her husband. Back in the day, you just were not prepared for what you were gonna get.
That was before I got saved.
I learned that from her, and Marcus too. Just not as bad. Brandie was a pistol when it came.
Let me tell you who changed that though. My husband threatened me because I used to be ignorant when we first got together. I wasn't used to it. So I used to be ignorant with it. Like, I mean, I would stop. I don't care where we were, what the situation was. If we were crossing the middle of the street and I stopped in the middle of the street.
I remember that.
Can I help you?
I remember like that.
Yeah. It would be so ugly. And Joe was not like that. Joe is okay. They're looking. So what? You know, we were polar opposites. There was no middle ground where sometimes I was cool with it, sometimes I wasn't. No, this is my new relationship, my husband, and whoever opposes us, you know. So I was real ignorant with it. To one point, Joe's breaking point was when there was a group and we were out and there was a group and some young man was staring at us. I mean, mouth was pasted open, Caucasian young man. Mouth was pasted open. And then when I looked at him, he was still looking like, and I mean, literally his mouth was open. So I was ignorant. I went off. And I said something derogatory. Turns out the young man was learning disabled. So Joe let me know. He said, in no uncertain terms, he said it in Joe's way. And I'm glad he did, but my feelings were hurt for a while. But he let me know, he said, if you don't get this under control, because people aren't going to change. If you don't get yourself and your reaction under control, we're not going to last. Because I'm your husband. So whatever fight you start, whatever jumps off because of your mouth,
bingo.
Whether you're wrong or not, I'm in it. I got to defend you. Do you know what I mean? So
go ahead, Joe.
It's not just you being ignorant and now you're getting the, you know, no, it's us, because I'm not going to let anybody do anything or say anything to you. But I shouldn't have to be in a constant state of alert. Let people look at us however they want to look at us. It's me and you. You don't need to do all that. And he threatened to leave me. And I said, okay, I don't want my man to leave me because I love him. So I calmed down. I calmed down a little bit.
That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. Because yeah, I hear you, Joe, because it's not just you that they will be attacking, they will be attacking us. And so, in other words, clean up on aisle 6. I don't need to have to go over to aisle 6 and clean up. So, you know, I get it. I really get it. That was wisdom too. That was wisdom.
It was.
The way he said it. Now, my next question to you, and then we can move forward, is, okay, I'm still trying to get back. Did you already place in your mind, Brandie, that when you started dating him and or / married him, that I have to be this way? I'm going to have to be on the defensive because, you know, even though there are interracial couples in the world, okay, I'm in one now. I'm in a relationship now. So I'm going to have to defend myself because I know they're going to come out after me.
Yes.
Okay.
I was on alert.
Okay.
I was on built-in alert.
But did you, and this is for all of you guys, did you feel like you had to go overboard in defending your Blackness? You know what I mean? Like I'm still one of us. I'm still on this team. Did you feel like you had to go overboard doing that because of the relationship you were in? Of course, at home is one way, but when you leave, you take this with you. And when you encounter other people, you know, do you have to, you know, do certain things to make sure that they know I'm still down for the cause, so to speak?
I've never felt personally, I'm sorry, whoever I just cut off. I've just always been the type who, I don't owe anybody an explanation for who I date or marry. You know, my relationship is between me and him. I'm certainly not going to explain myself or apologize. If my actions don't show you who I am, then oh well, you just won't know who I am. But I'm not gonna try to prove anything to white people. I'm not gonna try to prove anything to Black people. I am who I am. Take it or leave it. You know, I've just never been really sensitive to whether or not somebody accepts whether I'm Black enough. That's just never been a cause for me. So
They are sisters. Okay, anybody else?
I will say, well, at least I don't know what Marcus is going to say.
He said talk about Blackness.
No. But I don't know if that question would.
The way I felt about people thinking I'm Black.
I'm saying, like, I don't think talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry for that.
Ignorant.
Let's give Carmen some space. Go ahead, Carmen.
No, I don't know if we like the way Brandie and Nicky and them have encountered. We did encounter some people that did I don't know if Marcus remembers this, but I remember when his mom used to live on 69th, I believe. I forgot. But I remember it was like when we first started going out, like the first year, we would always go out and get something to eat, and we would walk it like down the street 2 blocks away. And the neighborhood was predominantly Black. And one time we came out and we were holding hands, you know, whatever. And this guy who was Black, he kept staring at us, and you know, we didn't think nothing of it. We're just walking, and then he started yelling at us, and he started saying, "You wrong, dude. You wrong for that." And I'm like, "Who is he talking to?" And he was yelling at Marcus. He's like, "You're wrong for that. That's not a." I think he said, "You need to be with a Black queen" or something like that. So he was saying, "You're wrong for that. You shouldn't. That's not right. That's not right." And I was like, "Oh." I'm like, I didn't say nothing. And then Marcus, of course, he did get confrontational, and but I told him, I think he's drunk or something. Let's just go. Like, it's all right, whatever. But he was getting upset because he was like yelling at us in the middle of the street. But no, he didn't. Nothing happened. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember that.
The comment, Black women, you don't get pushback from Black women, because I would expect that.
No, I mean, no. The honestly, so the only people that
Wait, I'm sorry. Adam, what kind of look was that? Tell the truth.
Like, you know, people telling me like, who the heck, like Black women telling me, who the hell are you to have one of our guys? No, nobody's ever really said that to me. Maybe they've said it behind my back.
Right.
I'm sure. But no, nobody's really like said anything mean to me. Like they you know, they've been okay with me. What was I gonna say? But I do remember the first time I met Mom and Brandie. They were very like,
oh, you got that too?
Oh yeah.
Brandie had the nerve to say, "I don't believe in interracial relationships."
Yep.
Did I?
I think you said something like that, and then you were like, and you looked at me like, "No, honey."
But Nicky, Carmen, okay, so listen, we're gonna talk about that later on. But Nicky, I know you're not laughing because of when I told you about Joe.
Yeah.
I know you don't laugh.
That was like 50 years ago.
Okay, but
that's my memory. I don't remember this.
And I remember when I met Mom, I was in the car sitting and Marcus was driving. So and she came over to us.
You're in the truck.
And she's like, and she looks at me, and then she like, and I went like this to shake her hand. And then she looks at Marcus. When are you gonna? And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, I'm sorry,
Mom. I'm about to call Evangelist Hill right now.
You don't
But
remember?
then,
Oh my God,
You
no.
don't
but then she said,
I do.
Don't you dare call your mom by her ministry name, and you got her blood flowing through your veins.
She'll come crawling across that floor.
I'm about to call Evangelist Hill.
you know what it was? I think she was caught off guard because she wasn't expecting to meet me. So I think she was really caught off guard. But then she said hello. She said, hello, nice to meet you.
Carmen, that was part of mine too. Now, I don't know how.
Mark was very secretive. He was like, I think they had been together for some years before we met her. It was more.
I promise you. Now, that's true. That's true. That's true. And can I defend myself real quick?
Yes.
Because I'm not gonna lie and say that I was one of those people. Up until, in fact, when Joe and I, even after we started dating and got married, I was still against interracial relationships. And I was vocal about it. So, y'all know, I know it sounds stupid, but Joe and I would be out somewhere and another interracial couple would see us and sit down next to us. And I'd be like, You need to stay with your own people. Y'all, this ain't right. So I'm not gonna lie and say I wasn't like that, but your situation was different. Like I was caught off guard with you. I totally was caught off guard. I'm not gonna lie and say I wasn't it wasn't a race thing. It probably was, given my history. I just don't remember that. But I know it was, you know, y'all have been together a long time, and we were like,
he was like, I don't believe in interracial relationships. 5 years later,
you know, Mark is exaggerating.
I believe in interracial relationships.
I believe in it. I believe in the power of interracial love.
So wait. You were not with Joe when you said that, Brandie?
What?
That you don't believe in interracial relationships?
So Marcus and Carmen.
No, I was.
Were you and Joe together?
Carmen, did I say that? I vocalized that?
I just remember
that because that's ignorant to say it. I could think whatever I want, but to say it, come on, I don't think I did that.
I don't remember that part. The only thing I remember is that you did. I mean, because you're.
I was very standoffish.
Yeah, you were just standoffish. But
yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that.
But I don't know. Marcus.
That's a Hill family defense mechanism. That's how we weed in the good and weed out the you know what I'm saying.
You might have a point there.
Mama was bogus in every situation though. Mama was, except for with Adam, because we had weaned her.
No, she did something that she kind of had to get checked for.
Okay, but she wasn't bogus. But she wasn't bogus with Adam. With Joe, she was straight up bogus.
What'd she say?
I think we were on Facebook and she hadn't met him yet, and she said something playfully. Yeah, because it looks like she's taking after her sister. And Adam saw it. I didn't see it. So then I went in with like a long paragraph on the post, and then he got a little upset because he hadn't met her yet. So it made him
but me at the time, I was like, what does this mean? She's like a sister.
No, I knew exactly.
Because I hadn't met none of the family yet.
Oh, wow.
No,
and none of the family had met me, nothing. And so it's like, okay, what is this about? And then she's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Adam was like, so your sister married somebody sexy too, huh?
That's it.
I love it, Joe. I love it. Go ahead, Marcus. I'm sorry.
No, that's my fault. I'm gonna sneak it in there real quick. I do, for the record, and I can't speak about any other race because I'm only Black. I'm only African American.
Okay, I'm writing this down.
Okay.
And for the record, right?
As a Black man, I do believe that a Black woman can understand a Black man's struggle more than any other
Absolutely. Race. That's a fact.
I know
that's a fact.
That's a fact. And I get that question a lot because I'm pro-Black all the way. And then I love all my other people, but our struggle, we need to play catch up. So I'm helping play catch up. And I get that question because they see my lovely lady who I'm with. And I've gotten a few messages saying, okay, well, you're pro-Black. How you feel about being with a Hispanic woman? I'm like, I feel good. Right. I'm so good. Because I still love my Black sisters, my Black queens. We'll fight for them, we'll kill for them. But I love my woman, right? That's like 20-year relationship. There's nothing else that comes above that. So I can be both. And that was something that I had to come to grips with. Can I still be both? And can I, whatever. But yeah, I love my Black people like to death, but then I love my lady. And she get me respect for the Hispanic culture and some of the things, even though we've had some funny situations that happen.
It wasn't perfect.
I think the assumption is that when people see interracial relationships, that there's some sort of underlying issue that caused someone to choose abandon their own race.
Exactly.
And for some people, I'm just gonna say it's not even that I prefer Black or I prefer white or I prefer Latino, but this is just who I fell in love with, and they just happen to be what they are.
Yeah.
And so
now some people do choose that though. Some people do abandon.
And you know what? It's their prerogative. Because guess what? When they leave the house, they still Black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think that we owe ourselves to be open-minded about certain things, and people fall in love with who they fall in love with.
Yeah.
And you know, but the other side of that question, though, Annette, if you don't mind me asking, was because of the issues on the outside that you might feel, are there any issues at home, within the marriage or within the relationship, based off of the opposition you might feel or see on the outside?
Now, wait, before you guys answer that question, Joe, I want to back it up because I think you had a question. Do you remember what it was?
Well, it's more of a more of an observation, but I'm hearing a lot of that we have to choose a race over another.
Exactly.
And when did that become the norm?
Right.
Why do we have to think that way? And that's just a rhetoric type of question.
Okay, say that again for me though.
Well, I mean, when do we start having to choose one race over another?
Okay,
is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like why can't it just be? It doesn't matter.
Right.
Can I dip into that? And then
Yeah.
after you answer it, Annette, I'm so sorry. I'm not.
that's okay. That's okay because this actually will kind of piggyback off of what Apostle was just saying a few minutes ago. What we have been taught. Let's go back and look at what we've been taught. We've been taught to stay with our own. We have been.
Yeah.
So, you know, you guys have gone against the grain, which is fine. You and other interracial couples, which is fine. But we have been taught that. We have been taught to stay with our own. Why else would the gentleman, well, I don't know if you want to call him a gentleman, Carmen, that's like, man, you need to stay, you know, with your own. We've been taught that. It's been ingrained in us, if you will. So that's where that came from. And I think now, and this is actually the topic that we're discussing, you know, interracial couples versus racial tension, it's more magnified now. You know, because of what we're dealing with
Especially now.
in the world.
Especially now. Yeah. That's what I say. I don't know what world we're going to be going back out into when Joe and I reemerge from our cocoon. I don't know what, and we're different now. So Joe is a lot more militant now than he used to be. So they might be getting it from him before they get it from, before I even say it. Yeah, they're going to be getting it from Joe before they get it from me.
I'm reemerging with my Glock.
Yeah, so it's a different world now. People, just the ignorance out there. If you're not careful, it'll cause you to be ignorant, to be reactionally ignorant, or it'll you feel like you have to go out with a defense. I feel like the few times I did go out early during the pandemic, I promise you, I went out with a defensive mechanism because I was reading all these comments online and seeing what people really thought about me. And I'm like, oh, y'all think about this, think this. So when I'm going in the store, walking through the aisles, normally, you know how somebody else is coming through the aisle. So you kind of scoot over a little bit. No, I'm not scooting nowhere. You finna go around me. Cause see, that's what y'all want us to do. You want to put your foot on our neck and make me scoot over in this aisle. I'm not scooting over. You're gonna have to go all the way around with your cart. That's the mindset that I had. I told Joe about it. Of course, he went off on me and said, you need to check yourself.
You know what though, Brandie, that sounds funny and humorous, but I remember having that mindset not too long ago.
Absolutely.
I remember having that mindset, and I was on vacation, and I was just like, what?
Right.
I'm not moving. You're gonna have to walk over what? You know.
Want it. And now that we know, you know.
But it was, I'm gonna tell you something. It was me going all the way back to my childhood, remembering when I was called a certain name every day of the week.
Exactly.
And all that stuff bubbled up in me. And I was ready to fight this guy over something that happened 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though he may have been acting that out and motivated by that, I'm supposed to be saved. I'm supposed to be mature. I'm supposed to be. And so, but yeah, I was pulling back from all of that hurt and pain.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is when people, it's not so much though that we're saying you got to choose, but some people can't fathom, okay, you coming home with all this weight on you connected to racism. How is it that you are able to navigate life through someone who doesn't understand that? And I think that's something that people are asking more so than, oh, you chose somebody over us.
Yeah. Marcus, did you want to add to that? what Joe asked?
Real quick. So, and it's in that question that Joe asked. I think I said that last time. In a perfect world, yes, like I wish so bad that that could be everybody's way of thinking. Why do we have to choose? Why do we have to kind of feel that, or another person has to feel that they see someone else's interracial relationship and think, no, it shouldn't be that way. But it is that way. And it started small and then it got so big that it kind of is it's hard to undo. So it's not that. It's like somebody asked me the other day, you know, why do you always have to talk about race, or why do you always have to talk about things? If the issue wasn't there, then I wouldn't have to talk about it. I didn't start the issue, but I'm in the middle of the issue, so I have to address it. And we have been brought up to understand the struggle of each other's culture. White people got some struggles, Hispanic people got some struggles, Black people got some struggles. And when it all comes down to it, especially when you're in a relationship like me and Carmen, the house can be on fire and our mentality is it's me and you against the world, right? But when we actually get into that heat of it's me and you against the world, we fighting against everybody, then certain things that come up,
That's good.
A man wants to feel like he has my back, right? And some people feel that if I'm next to a Black queen, then she understands a Black man struggle a little bit more. And, you know, I feel a little bit more secure. That's not me. I feel secure, but, you know, Carmen, she has my life.
And I'll admit, it took me a while to understand that level. Like he was saying, like Black women would understand better. And I agree with that because I didn't at first. Like I thought I did, but then obviously the longer we were together and then dealing with all these issues that we went through a lot, I learned a lot. You know, being around his family, his parents, you know, so.
Started talking Black.
You know what? And let me say this, Carmen you ain't never gonna find a female that's more ride or die for her man.
True.
True. And not that she had to, but Carmen has proven herself over and over and over again. You are never gonna, she is so for Marcus and Marcus for her.
Yes.
Never. This couple is solid.
Even
as a rock. But even with that, there are things that she just will want to understand, but she can't. And Marcus has no filter in letting her know those things. Sometimes I think, Marcus, you ain't got to say it like that. You know,
I get it from my two big sisters.
Let's start blaming Evangelist Hill, please. Not your sisters, because but even in that, even so much to the point where she's trying to teach her kids about their African ancestry, and Marcus is like, no. But she's solid, and I'm so impressed by how aggressive she is with it. Even with that, though, there are certain things she's just not going to understand because you have to go through certain things to perceive them from a certain light. That makes sense.
Yes. And piggyback off of what you just said, Brandie. And in addition to that, she's willing to learn. She's willing to learn. That's what from knowing you so far, Carmen, that's what I know. You're willing to learn. And I'm sure that love did that. All right now. Hello. Put that in there. Hey, listen, Michelle Thomas also says the answer to Joe's question is because of ignorance. She says, I have 4 daughters and 3 of them were in interracial relationships. One has actually been married to her Hispanic husband for 9 years. So she says it's because of ignorance as well. And I would agree with that. Do we want to back it up? You want to ask that question again, Apostle, the second part of that question?
Yeah, I actually, so based off of the conflict that you have seen on the outside, has that added to any conflict or differences internally in your marriage?
I want to hear from Adam.
Heated discussions or debates.
Come on, Adam.
Nah, I mean, I haven't really noticed it. I mean,
you hear Adam's voice when he started talking, like, I mean,
that's a safe.
I haven't. For me, I haven't noticed anything in our relationship that deals with it.
Okay, I'm getting some feedback. So that
really, Adam.
Is that your answer? Speaking to it?
There's a reason. There's a reason. I don't really because based on basically agreeing with everything that was just said, especially what Carmen was saying. Carmen has a lot of understanding now because she and Marcus have been together so long. He and I have been married for 3 years. We just had the 3rd year anniversary. There's still a lot that he doesn't understand, and we talk. We do have conversations. He's willing to learn. He does listen. But when it comes to me having a passionate conversation about race, and I hate to say it, maybe call me wrong. Maybe this is a very dysfunctional way to approach it, but I have close friends that I talk to about it instead. We just don't have those passionate discussions about it. We have necessary discussions, anything that I'm feeling or anything that I think is a big deal that needs to be discussed in terms of race. Of course, I'm going to discuss it with him. But as far as like passionate conversations where I'm going to reveal like emotions and so forth, my close friends are there for that.
Is there a reason for that aside from what?
Just, you know what? It's one of those things where I say all the time, I got stuck in some of my ways because I was single for a very, very long time. And so I kind of developed some patterns that are difficult for me to step away from now at my age. And that's one of them. It's like this fellowship with my close friends who can relate to me 100%. I can relate to them. And that way we can say anything to one another, not feel offended, and actually have a productive conversation. It's just still something that I need right now. It's difficult for me to have that passionate conversation with someone who doesn't, I don't know. It's just comfortable to be passionate about a subject to somebody who's just as passionate about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm sure you probably want that to eventually be.
I do, very much. We'll work on it. We definitely will work on that. Absolutely. But again, it's still in the beginning stages. We have not been together that long. So.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I went into analyzing mode there. Forgive me. Okay. Anyone else want to address that? Joe, I see you. Did you want to address that question?
Oh. No, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time, Nicky. It really does. It's taken us years. Upon years. And the real sad thing about it, if the tragedies that have been happening over the past few years didn't happen, I don't know if we would have developed this level of being comfortable enough to talk about race. And I don't know if I would have developed more of an understanding of what Black people have to go through on a daily basis. I'll never fully understand, of course, but so that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to hop in on that second part of the question that Apostle asked? Brandie, I know you're dying to say something.
I'm trying not to talk. The last show that I watched that we did, I was horrified at how much I talked. So I'm trying to.
She went back and listened to it, guys.
I sure did. I was horrified. So I know I don't have anything to say on that.
Real quick, Apostle, what was the last part of that question? I think Carmen did.
Yeah. How have the issues or the response outside of your home when people see your relationship, how has that affected you guys inside? Like, do those issues bubble up? How they affected you internally?
I think it's for us. So Carmen has a way that she looked at our people for a long time because she got used to seeing the same reaction, and I got the same response about her people. So, and I'll let her talk about the experience of Black folks, and I'll quickly talk about Hispanic folks. So Hispanic folks, that I love so much, they'll look and then keep looking.
They do.
And keep looking.
They stare.
They can be on fire.
Especially the older ones, like the grandmas and my parents' age group. They do. They just stare, and it's like.
And don't you dare look back with no funny
And
look.
even if you're looking at them, they're still staring.
That head gonna tilt a little bit more.
Like, you know, and it was even worse when we had Leia. Oh my God. When Leia was born, we were followed around the grocery store. People would stop us in the parking lot.
And say what?
Because they wanted to see her. They were curious, like, what an interracial baby would look like. And then I guess because they're like, can we see her? Like, or I remember Marcus got really mad. And I think it was mostly Hispanic women, right? Or both? Because there were some black women that were coming up to Leia when she was like 1 or 2, because she had her hair like poofy. They would just come up and start touching her. Oh my God, look at her hair, look at her hair. And it's so cute. And Marcus would look at me like, can you?
Is this normal?
You need to, like,
like a stub.
If it was Hispanic women, he would look at me and say, check that. Tell him to stop touching her. But if it was, you know, his people, he'd be like, okay, he would like pull her away. Okay, you don't have to touch her. Like,
but Carmen's the same way when it comes to.
Oh, so it's a difference, Marcus.
Y'all look like my mom. Y'all know how tough mom is, and Papa, but mom is tough. My mom used to reprimand the girls, right? And Carmen wasn't used to seeing that, so I could tell it was bubbling up in Carmen. Like, if you don't say something, I'm gonna say something. But she never. She would come behind closed doors and say, your mama does that, or some kind of thing in a nice way to say.
No, and that's the truth, Carmen. I know that's the truth, so don't even try it. That's the truth, because that sounded just like you. I believe that's one thing I do believe from Marcus.
So there's a difference, and that's what we observed from each other's, from opposite cultures. Yes. And it was an interesting learning experience.
I mean, that sounds about right. I mean, you figure you know how to handle the Black people, and then you asked her, okay, check that. Basically, that's what you were saying. Okay, I get it. Let me read this comment from Gloria Gooden. She says, in 9th grade, she had an Italian male friend. Ooh. And when we embraced and with the hello smack, I guess you mean a kiss. All right, Gloria. She said, I received a lot of negative feedback from my Black sisters and brothers. Plus is that non-Black race?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We were only friends and wasn't trying to date. It was just our way of greeting one another. Eventually the friendship ended. And then I saw a question behind that. Gloria, I don't know, can you answer why did that friendship end? I mean, did you feel pressured to end that friendship? Inquiring minds want to know, and mine is one of them. I want to know why the actual friendship ended. Because, I don't know. And then I don't know how long ago that was. I don't know what the climate was back then. So, it could have been a big influence, but I just want to know if you're willing to answer. How about I put it that way?
What's a hello smack?
What was that?
And what's a hello smack?
Oh, that's what you want to know about, huh?
They were kidding.
Wesley, I see you. There are many that have joined since we've started. This is our second part of interracial couples versus racial tension. And of course, we have our panelists, the 3 interracial couples, back again from last month, the McCords. We also have the Harleys and Marcus and Carmen here. And of course, my co-host is facilitating with me on tonight. Thank you, Apostle Hunt. Cynthia Nelson, I see you. Janetta, Christian, Estella. I'm just kind of going down the line because I want to recognize each of you and appreciate you for watching on tonight. Tanya McLean, thank you for watching. Prophet Rolanda. Dr. Hill is on here. I'm not going to read that comment. Let's see. Eugenia is on watching, and we appreciate you. She was all in the conversation earlier. And then she finally realized that there were siblings. Let's see here. Prophet Rolanda says, Brandie, she would get pushed back if she were Caucasian. Sad to say, African-American women consider Carmen to be Black.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's sad that if they were Caucasian, they would get pushed. If you were Caucasian, it will be pushed back.
Yeah.
All right. Because Black women, and we honestly, I mean, in my mind, you know, that's what they say, the one drop rule. Am I saying that right? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Come on now.
But Carmen is Mexican.
Right.
I get it.
Her parents are Mexican.
Okay, but some of them still consider that they got Black in their blood.
I would say she's a minority, so she understands the plight of a minority woman.
Yeah.
But to say that, well, she Black too, no, she's not. That's disrespectful to her Hispanic heritage. You know, I don't consider her Black.
I get it. I must be older than you all because you all probably don't know what I'm talking about. But there is that. Marcus is laughing. I think he know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. So that's why they would consider that she's still Black.
Okay, explain to me. So because she has a drop, are they saying she has a drop of Black blood in her system that makes her Black?
That's the mentality.
But isn't that white people do too?
Well,
ain't nobody. It ain't too many whites out here that don't have a drop somewhere.
Okay, now you're mixing up a whole lot of stuff there.
Okay.
That's gonna be on part 3.
Sorry. I'm just like,
where my co-host at? You ain't coming to my defense. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Hey, I'm trying to get my popcorn ready. I'm here for the comments.
All right. I'm actually interviewing for a new co-host. Just kidding.
No, I know what you were saying though. And that a lot of people kind of see that, and they believe that one drop. I think 1/16%. If you have 1/16 in your blood, then you're considered, and that used to be written in law in certain situations. If you had 1/8 or 1/16, then you were Black. And then they would outlaw interracial relationships based off of that 1/8 or 1/16%. So that's part of the reason why people think that way.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand, like Nicky was saying, both her parents are Hispanic, but then go back in that,
back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about back in her heritage, back in her family.
Oh, gotcha.
You said that's true. Could be.
Indian, Aztec, I'm sure.
I don't understand that logic.
Right. Yeah. Everything don't always make sense. Shannon is on. Janiyah. I see Walter Jones, and there was another name here I wanted to mention that I don't. Oh, Christine Pipkins. Thank you for watching. Somebody hopped on here. Yes, Dr. Oh, that was Dr. Hill to say that's right. The one drop rule. Thank you, Dr. Hill. See, I knew somebody knew what I was talking about. Tridana, Nicole, Auntie Linda, Wesley. I think I mentioned Wesley. Okay, thank you. I think I've gotten the names already. All right, where are we at? We did the 2 questions from Brandie. Is that accurate, Apostle?
I think he jumped off.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Thank you.
He's going to get that popcorn.
He's going to get the popcorn. All right. All right. So let me hop. I see Nicky, you actually gave me, let's see, 2 questions. Woo, this is interesting. To the non-Black spouses. How y'all doing?
Good.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, here's a question for you. How do you handle racism within your close friends and or family?
Ooh, hold on. Take a shot of this first.
Marcus, pass it. Sip, pass.
Lord have mercy. Nice. So how do you handle it when it's directed at your spouse when they're not around? Did I read that correctly, Nicky? Okay. All right. So who wants to jump in on that?
I can tackle.
Because we only have 2 here. Well, no, that's well. I mean, because we just figured, Carmen was. No, I'm just kidding. You can go ahead,
Carmen.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, that's a 2-part question, right? I mean, the second part there with how do I handle if they're racist while Brandie's not around? Is that what you're trying to say?
So it's basically asking if you have family members who are not crazy about you being with a person of a different race, how do you handle like their comments and so forth when she's not around?
Well, I used to ignore it. Now I address it.
Good.
And I address it in a way that, well, let's put it this way. I ended a relationship with one of my siblings. Good. Okay. Now, the second part of that is that's not before I try to educate, because we actually need to start educating. We have to stop hating. We have to start jumping. We have to stop getting angry. We have to, because you don't know where they're getting their information. They're probably getting their information from a bunch of, as Nicky would say, knuckleheads. Right. So we really need to stop jumping on people, educate first to a certain point, and then you realize, okay, this is just a dead horse. I'm just going to leave it alone.
Joe, I don't know if Brandie agree with you on that one.
Out of respect for my husband.
That was a great answer.
I like his answer. I just think we're past educating people.
Well, I'm trying to say,
I
like,
think it's time out for educating.
You know, we have to try, and if it doesn't work, then we move on. But if anything's ever going to change, we have to try.
This is true.
Okay. Listen, I was all on that bandwagon talking about educating. Brandie, you can come on. Let's jump back in here. Why do you think we're beyond it?
And let me preface this by saying I have the utmost respect for the patience and the love that Joe has in his heart to educate people. When you're dealing with your family, I think that you should take that extra, you can't just cut off family like, you're racist, go to hell. Of course, educate, take time with your family to educate. My thing is, if you are a grown racist, what am I educating you about? Am I educating? No, they're not monkeys like you think they are. Or no, they're not lazy and trifling. Or no, they're not bad for me and less than us. Let me teach you that that's not the truth. And I'm not talking about his family. I'm just talking about educating racist white people in general. It's not my job to educate a grown, ignorant racist who's racist by choice. There's, we got people in the boonies who don't know other Black people. So maybe you don't know, maybe you don't have TV, whatever. But I'm done educating people that, oh, I'm a person. Oh, I'm just as good as you. Oh, no, I don't have to prove myself to my new white family. I shouldn't have to come in the gate having to prove myself because of the color of my skin. Now, because I'm a woman and this is your son or this is your brother and you don't know if I'm good enough, that, yeah, absolutely, I got to do that. But for the color of my skin, what am I educating you about? Like, what do I need to teach you to make you not racist? That's where I am. And Joe and I have had this conversation. And we're still kind of at an impasse because I feel like the time for trying to educate people out of their ignorance and their racism, that's not my job. That's not Joe's job. And I feel like it's time out for that. If you want to be educated to not be a racist, go educate yourself, because there's there are plenty of things out there for you to educate yourself.
So
if you're going to be educated.
Do you feel that way about Black family and friends that think that white people are demons?
Absolutely.
And I have to sit there and try to tell them, no, I'm not a demon.
Well, no,
I'm not a racist. I'm not a demon. I'm not, I have to do that.
Who do you have to do that with?
I used to have to do that a lot.
I agree both ways. A grown racist, I'm not going to try to educate you in anything. I've never tried to educate my family. If there were any issues, and you know me, I'm just gonna, that's your problem. You better get it together when you're in my presence. Joe and I, there's one way that we deal with our issues. And then there's, you got to have a little bit more patience when we deal with our families. I do understand that, but Black, white, Hispanic, whatever you are, if you're grown, I'm not going to educate you on nothing. I have enough to deal with. I'm dealing with the racism every day. Now I got to sit and educate your ignorant self that I'm not an animal, that I'm not less than you, that I don't deserve to be treated like this. No, it's not my job. Tell your mama to train you or whoever. Go online, Go watch some movies, some documentaries, but I'm not here to educate you. And I don't feel like someone who's married to someone of a different race or dating someone of a different race should have to educate grown people that the person I'm dating is not an animal. This person isn't less than you. Let me open some books and show you why. What? You're a grown person.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That just irritates me when it irritates me. That's not my job to educate you not to be a racist. How about you not be a racist? How about you do that? How about you educate yourself? Because I don't have the patience for it. I'm dealing with the racism and I got to turn around and educate you on not to treat me like an animal? No.
I think
no, ma'am.
So I agree with everything Brandie just said, and she actually articulated that very well. I mean, that's it. My biggest thing has always been, you know, I don't have the energy to educate you or make you understand when I'm sitting in the throes of it. That was profound. But I think I asked the question. It's the assumption, and maybe it's not assumption because I did say if you have a racist family member. But okay, this is my take on it. Not everybody's going to agree with it. I think there's a difference between a racist family member and just a prejudiced family member. Of course, racists are going to be prejudiced, but let me explain it this way. I've had my prejudice against white people. I have. And honestly, it's because it was when I didn't spend a lot of time at all around white people. So basically the stigmatizations, the preconceived notions that I was hearing growing up, those stuck with me. That's all I knew. And so anytime I met a white person, of course, that's what I'm thinking of you. So I think Joe means educate in the sense that, okay, we don't know what their history is. This could be a white person who grew up with family members who sheltered them from, I mean, look how many white people, and this is controversial too, but white privilege does exist. But I have white friends that I love to death that I'm very close with. They genuinely don't have a concept. You can sit there for hours and try to explain to them white privilege, and they think, I'm poor. You know, I've been through a lot. I that. No, you're still not explaining. You're not taking time to understand what it is that I'm trying to explain. So I think that's basically what Joe means by educate. Some people are not, oh, Black people are beneath me. I hate Black people. They're monkeys. They're cattle. Some people are going by what they see in the media, what they've been taught, what their exposure has been, and they're putting up a brick wall because they feel like they need to be defensive because Black lives matter. Oh, does that mean our lives don't matter? You know, you have to understand the history. A lot of people, white people, have no clue about actual American history with Black slaves and civil rights. So
is that Joe's job? Is that Joe's job or Adam's job to teach that to their family?
I agree. It absolutely is not their job. It's not our job. If you're an adult, like I found out about Black American history because I actually picked up books and read about them. That's how I learned. I didn't learn it in school. I took initiative as an intelligent adult and learned about those things. So it is beyond me when I find an adult who just it never occurred to them to step out, find out the truth on your own. So I agree with you 100%. It is not my job to babysit you, to teach you how you should treat other human beings. But I think when it comes to family members, I'm willing to make an exception to a degree because I'm going to attempt to keep it civil between the family. But once I get the impression that you are stuck in your mentality and your level of thinking, I'm not going to waste my time or energy. I have no problems never seeing or talking to you again. I have no problem with that at all. But I will make an attempt because as an adult, I think that it's silly to just cut somebody off just because of your emotions. But yeah, I agree with you. If you're not going to try to understand where I'm coming from, if we're not going to have dialogue, if we're not going to try to meet each other halfway, then why should I waste my time? There's no point.
I believe in education by experience, like experience being around me. And so you can see that I'm not a monkey or
cat. I agree.
or whatever else. And see that I don't speak in the dialect that you're used to hearing in your head when you see a Black person. I'm all for that, but it's going to be regular experience. I'm not going to make special allowances. I'm not going to come. Well, hello, everyone. Right. Good evening to you. I'm not.
I would divorce you if you spoke that way. I'm just
but you know what I'm saying. I believe in education by experience. My son is a good one for that. He actually had a video that went viral, and he touched people who were they were like, I'm so ashamed to say I did not know, or I had some of these feelings. Brendan's has millions of views in a couple of days. But he's one of those people who really educates by an experience. If you're racist and you have those, if it's not a hate-based racism, if it's an ignorance-based racism, that can be changed. And that can be changed by being around Black people that directly contradict the view that you have. Hate-based, I have no patience for you, and you're going to be a hateful demon regardless. So I promise you, I'm not trying to change your views. That's just how you're going to feel.
Right.
So it sounds like you had the two different groups of people, like you just said, the hate base and the ignorant base
versus ignorance base. Yeah.
Now, when Joe first initially said that about educating, I was thinking he was more talking to the ignorant base, because we know we can't necessarily change the mind of the hate base. You know,
hate is like what she said. It's experience that's going to change that.
Right, definitely. So, because I'm, you know what I'm thinking, Brand, and everyone else, I'm thinking of those who are maybe even those who are even watching this show. Some who are even thinking about getting involved in an interracial relationship or what have you. So they still need to be educated. You know what I mean? And you all have, I don't know how many years of experience you could bring to the table.
Yeah.
Yes, the reason for this session. So I think actually, whether you want to or not, you are educated even during this session.
Through osmosis.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's see.
Just left and it's not coming back, huh?
I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. Listen, Adam, do you want to jump in on that one?
Yeah, I agree with everything that was just said. Nicky always says I led a very sheltered life and stuff. And I did to a degree. But I also grew up in a military town where if it wasn't for the military base, our town would have disappeared. And growing up, I saw a lot of interracial relationships, even in my own family, to the fact of my aunt is Korean, my stepdad is Italian. I grew up already experiencing that interracial relationship. And so, like with my family, I don't ever have to try to justify it or try to explain it or anything. A lot of them already get it. To those that don't, I hate to say it, there's no way to explain it. It's who I love. Like we said before, it doesn't matter that she's Black or that they're Korean or Italian, whatever. That's who we love, and that's who we fell in love with. So, yeah, just now with friends, I learned a long time ago. Yeah. I had a friend and he was racist, and he would hang out with us. Well, he made a comment one night, and because of it, I cut him off. And I never saw him. I didn't see him for years, and all of a sudden, just every great blue moon out of, just out of the blue, he'll call me and he'll be like, or text me like, "What's up?" I'm like, "What's up?" And I'll just short, brief, to the point, kind of, what do you want? Because I'm not going to entertain that. You done disrespected her, and by doing so, you disrespected me. And I never did that with you, and what all your stuff that you did that was wrong. So I don't feel it's right. And so he's to the side now. He I don't socialize with him no more.
Okay. All right, now go ahead, Adam. Don't mess with my woman. Hey, wait, that's my wife. I'm sorry. I throw that in there, Joe. My bad. I'm so sorry. Carmen, you want to jump in on that? That was a good answer, Adam. Thank you for that.
As far as family, I don't have any family members, at least that I know of, but like my immediate family that are racist. But I will say this. So when I got involved with Marcus, my parents had a hard time with it. And this is why. My parents aren't racist. See, when I first got involved with him, I kept him a secret from my parents because I knew that it was going to be hard for them. So I remember consulting my older brother and my oldest sister, you know, how should I approach them? Because I know they're old fashioned. They grew up in Mexico. My parents have been together for 52 years. You know, they were brought up differently in Mexico. I mean, so they have, it's a tradition. So my brother said, look, and I remember questioning, you know, are they racist? Or, you know, is mom, dad racist? And my brother's like, they're not racist, Carmen. He says, they're prejudiced without knowledge. They don't know. They come from labor work nonstop. My dad's been working labor since he was 6 years old on the fields. That's all they know. That's all they've been exposed to. And even coming here, we grew up in 26th Street in California by the Cook County Jail. So what do you think they saw? They saw all the bad. They didn't see none of the good. So don't hold it against them. You know, just if this is who you want to be with, then you're just gonna have to.
Ain't no black folks on 26 in California.
No, the jails and stuff. So, anyways, look at him. So I do remember, you know, I remember nervous and like, but I had to tell them, you know. So, and I remember telling my mom, and it was hard. She cried, and she was upset, and she just, you know, she's like, you know, but why? And my dad was quiet. My dad didn't say anything, but he had tears in his eye. And the only thing he told me, he was quiet, and how he said was, why not Mexican? And I'm like, well, Dad, like, I didn't plan this. Like, it just happened, you know, it just, you know, it's not that I hate Mexican people. I don't. I had a Mexican boyfriend before you. This is who I want to be with. And he said, well, and he's like, okay. And my dad was more kind of like, you know, we have to accept it if we want our daughter to stay in our lives, you know, because I honestly fought to be in this relationship. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, I know you can't understand right now, but, you know, and I know you're mad. And she was upset. And then I remember crying about it, like at home. And she saw how upset I was because I wanted her to kind of like accept it. And I'm like, you haven't met him yet. You're just going by this, what you think because of how we grew up. And so I remember when he finally came to meet them, you know, my mom was respectful. She wasn't mean to him or nothing. She said hello, blah, blah, blah. So when he left, she even said, you're right. I expected something and it was absolutely not what I expected. And, you know, she said she was sorry. And then when they finally studied to become American citizens for their citizenship, they have to go through a class and they study about American history. And I remember she came to me, she said, Mija, I didn't know, you know, Black people went through all this. I didn't know about Martin Luther King. I didn't know about any of this stuff. You know, why didn't you guys teach us? Because my parents, all they did was work when we were growing up in school. So they didn't, you know, they didn't have this education. So my mom was so like blown away by everything she was learning when she got their citizenship. So she's like, you know, little by little, she started learning more. And obviously over the years, she got to know him. And now, you know, they love him. They do. They love Marcus.
You know what I'm saying?
And not to cut you off, Carmen, don't forget your thought. But I think what Carmen just described is the perfect example of a prejudice that just needs an education.
Here you go.
Oh, Brandie, she's not even sitting there, but that's basically what I was.
Just agree for it, Joe.
Right, exactly.
Well, what caught my ear was that they learned about what white people learn about in school, but yet they still come out racist.
Ooh.
But her Hispanic family learned about it and instantly understood.
Yes.
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 Yeah. Nicky, you took the words right out of my mouth. You really did, because that was the perfect example. Perfect example.
Yeah.
And yeah, Joe, I hear you. I hear you. That was a good analogy there. Wow, this is deep, guys. This is really, really deep. But I applaud your mom, Carmen, you know.
Yeah.
Because even just because she had to learn about it for her, you know, to get citizenship doesn't mean she had to embrace it, so to speak. She could be like, oh yeah, but still.
Right.
But she was willing, obviously willing to learn and understand, and she knew he wasn't going nowhere, so I got to do that.
Even when this started happening with everything that's been going on with George Floyd and stuff, she's always asking me, how's Marcus doing? How's his family? Like, are they okay? How's he doing?
Wow.
You know, make sure you're there for him, Carmen, because I can't imagine what he must be feeling like. And I'm like, yeah, Ma, I know. I'm
I love this. I love it. You know, I was looking at one of my favorite shows, This Is Us, last night. I don't know if any of you guys watched that or not.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good show, and it's very eye-opening. Now, that show is not about an interracial couple, but it is about an interracial relationship, though, familial relationship. And the one Black guy, what is it, Sterling? Is this the actor's name? He and his family, he's married to a Black woman, but he grew up in a white family. And it was just because his parent, I think his mom died or whatever, and then the dad left him at a fire station, So he's now with, you know, have been raised by this white family. And, you know, one of the things that the show, because it was a season premiere last night, but it started off talking about the George Floyd incident. And so basically how it was affecting, you know, everybody, you know, on the show. And they were celebrating like their 40th birthday, because it was a twin. He was placed in a family of twins. The siblings would be twins. So it's almost like he's a triplet because they're the same age. They were born on the same day. He was just left at the fire station. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? So the white family, the woman, her husband, they had the children or whatever. I'm just kind of paraphrasing the whole plot. But anyway, in last night's season premiere, they were celebrating their 40th, and normally they would celebrate their birthdays together. He chose not to, the Black guy and his family chose not to. The George Floyd incident had just happened. And basically he just feels that he just can't really relate to them right now, to the white family. Now he's grown up with them for low these 39 years, but he feels like he really can't relate to them. So it's like, it was really eye-opening last night. And it just kind of makes you think about this whole thing, you know, interracial relationships, period. And I was pretty impressed at how they laid out that storyline. But I was saying that, why was I even saying that? But I was saying that in respect to, you know, what Carmen was saying, and of course her mom being willing to learn and understand. So this education is definitely important, because people, they need to know, they need to understand first and foremost what you all are dealing with, being in these relationships and how it's affecting you. Because I'm sure, I'll back it up. Look, with Joe on A&D, he came on there a couple of weeks in a row, you know, so that we could hear from his side, his side dealing with all this racial tension. Joe chose to do that. Joe actually came to us and asked us if he could be on the show. I thought that was admirable. I was like, wow, yeah, Joe, come on, let me hear what you have to say. You know, because, you know, and I can't put words into Joe's mouth or any of you, Adam or Carmen, of what you all are thinking now, you know, now all this stuff is going on. You know what I mean? Like you said, Carmen, your mom asked, how is Marcus doing in his family with all this stuff that's going on? That's why I brought up This Is Us. That's where it came. I'm 53, y'all. I'm 53. Okay, give me a minute.
It'll come around.
So that's why, you know, so I can't imagine what you guys are dealing with yourselves. You know, do I try and make up for this that's going on, that's happening to, you know, my spouse or what have you? You know, you can't change the world, but what can I do in my home? What can I do in my home? And I guess that would be the next question I would ask. It's not on here, but what do you think? Do you feel that you have to try and do like a makeup type thing, or try and make it a little smoother at home, you know, because of everything that's going on? Adam, Nikki, I'm sorry, Adam, not Nikki. Adam, Carmen, and Joe, do you kind of feel that way?
Like make it smoother for like Marcus, like
Right.
yes. In the beginning when this happened, like Marcus shared the last time, this was really hard for him. Like he was almost like in this anger and frustration, and even sometimes there were times where he took it out on me. So I kind of
Why would you?
No, but it was not in a bad way though. But I knew he wasn't attacking me. It was just he was frustrated with a lot of stuff that he was seeing on social media, and especially when we kind of saw people's true colors, especially some of our friends who we thought, you know, weren't like that. And I think he was just kind of like, you know, kind of thrown off, but like disappointed and let down. And, you know, so I had to kind of find a way to bring him out of that, or at least have peace at home where he's not fighting that, you know, on social media and with other people, and then with me at home. So, you know, trying to ease the tension that he was already feeling from dealing with all that, and even having some heavy discussions on social media with people, like jumping on his post and saying dumb stuff, you know. So
yeah. Okay. Adam?
I'll let Joe answer first. I mean, I didn't really feel the need to. I did, you know, if she needed to talk about it, I was there. But at the same time, I didn't like try to force it, because I didn't want to force things out that she didn't want to put out or, you know, talk about.
Okay, so you just kind of like letting it lie a little bit if yeah. You know, if she was like, look, Adam, we got to talk about this. This is bothering you. Were just there.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it. Everybody has their house differently.
Mm-hmm.
Adam is perfect for Nikki. Like I never thought I would see the perfect match for Nikki. Adam is the perfect match.
Explain yourself.
Please explain.
Yin and yang.
They're the yin of each other's yang. And Adam knows how to handle what I know is one of like issues that she had, and then Adam's one of those reserved people that when you know Nikki gets the way the Hills get sometimes. Adam has patience, and
that is true.
You have to have patience, yes.
But that being said, I really did have to learn that, because when we first got together, the Hill would come out and I would be like, what did I say? What did I do? I didn't know how to respond. And then she would be like, look, I'm gonna need you to just, that's me, and just be like, whatever, you know? And so I learned real quick. Now she doesn't want, it's like,
yeah, he does. And then I get mad because then he won't.
Or I'll have my phone and I'll be sitting here going, hold on a second. Okay, now what? And then she's like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and you made me stop this for that.
No, okay, specifically, we're talking about the race issues, but he will, I mean, I'll notice that, and not answering the question for him, but he will, I can tell when he comes home, I'm a very private person. I hold things in, and I'm very selective with who I will let them out with and discuss them with. I won't even bother discussing it with you if I don't think it's going to be a productive conversation. And so he senses when the things that are going on are bothering me. And I think he takes it seriously to the degree that it's like, don't have a discussion with her about it until she's calmed down and we can have a productive conversation. And so he will, I think he does he does kind of walk on eggshells and doesn't realize that I realize it. And it bothers me because it makes me feel like, well, why can't, just talk about it, just say what's on your mind. But at the same time, like Marcus just said, he's learned that might not be, the smartest thing to do at the moment. So yeah.
What I hear is that Adam has learned how to look to the hills from whence cometh his help.
You are hilarious. You really are. You're hysterical. But basically, yes.
Right. There you go.
That there is one thing I like, because she just articulated everything I was trying to say. I just learned like, okay, she's upset about something. Let her calm down. And then I'll approach it later,
Okay. All right. That's good stuff right there. Come on, Joe.
Well, we've come to the point where in our relationship, because we're coming up on almost 15 years that we've been married. So it's kind of like this open thing where I let her come to me. Like she knows I'm here. If you're really upset about it, you need to talk about it. But she talked about that earlier, though. There are some things that I'm just not going to understand. Mm-hmm. So she needs to go get that from another outlet. And I understand that as well. I'm not offended by it, because I'm not Black, and the one thing that we worry about is, I worry about the boys more than I worry about anything else. So they'll reach out to them and just say, hey, I'm here if you need to talk. Or if you really need to have it, the other side of the coin type conversation, but that's really how I handle it.
Okay. All right. Good stuff, guys. You guys hear that on Facebook Live. I hope you're enjoying this session. I am learning a whole lot. And it is good to put in your back pocket because you may need it one day. Those of you that are just joining us, this is part 2 of Interracial Couples versus Racial Tension with our panelists on this evening. And I'm excited that we're actually doing this. Let me hop down to some questions from Marcus and Carmen before we move forward, because I don't want to run out of time without getting to theirs. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, man, y'all gave me a book. Oh, okay.
So see, go back to the other one. We'll have a part 2.
Let's see here. Did you ever see yourself being in a relationship with someone outside of your race? If not, what made you change your mind? I like that one. Yes.
Whose question is that?
From Marcus and Carmen. And Marcus looked like, I really didn't write that, but.
Well.
Yes, come on, tell me.
I'll start. I actually never thought that I would ever. He's the first. And I was one of those who, it's not that I didn't, I honestly never saw myself dating or marrying outside my race. And it's not that I didn't like white people. It's just that I'm a loner and I'm a very non-confrontational, I have a very low threshold for drama. And so I've just always seen relationships as hard enough. And so I've just never saw myself as having the patience to tackle having to grow with someone as far as interracial relationship issues. I've just never seen myself as I've never desired to have to approach that in a relationship. I just never have. So no, in answer to the first question, no, I never saw myself with a white person, but I think once I stepped outside of my head and I met him and, we just hung out together. He actually is the first person that I met when I moved to Texas. That's how we ended up together, but met him and started hanging. He was so just.
Wait a minute. Adam is a correctional officer.
Yes.
Wow.
First of all, because he lived upstairs from me.
No,
Second of all, you gonna say that on
Nice catch, Marcus.
He was the first person that I ran into when I moved to Texas.
What exactly did you move into?
Right.
Right. How did you move to Texas? No. Yeah. Good. Okay. All right. That's a brother for you. Go ahead, Nicky.
Right. But I started hanging out with him, and he was just a person. I'm saying that to say that I realized then that I've always had a lot of hang-ups about certain things, and interracial relationships was one of them. And once I was able to step outside of my head and just let go of silly stuff, then I realized that I actually liked him, and he actually courted me. I wasn't used to that.
Come on with it, sir.
Right.
You better get your black woman.
Yeah, he actually courted me, and I gave him a hard time. I did, and I think he almost gave up at one point. But
Aww, I love it.
Oh, that's sweet. I like that. Thank you for
I love it.
That's good stuff right there. Okay. And thank you for being honest, Brandie, come on. You came back in here. Can you answer that question?
Excuse my absence, you guys. I had to walk Snoopy, and he's getting real aggressive down here when you try to ignore him. Did I ever think I was gonna date frivolously? Absolutely. Marry? Absolutely not. Marry and have kids with? Mm-mm. But date and go out with and have fun, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't trust. I didn't trust white men enough to say I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. I didn't trust the intentions of the white man dating a black woman. Not I didn't trust them as friends. I could work with them or whatever, but there's a lot even for a white person to overcome going in. There's a lot for them to overcome to date me and want to marry me, to want to marry me. So why would you take that on to be with me? Is this getting back at your parents? Is this am I exotic? I actually heard that a lot when I was dating Joe. I heard that from my friends and people close to me. Yeah, they were like, okay. Even Nicky said, Nicky was the most diplomatic about it. Nicky said, I remember to this day where we were when she said it. I told her about Joe, and she said, oh, okay. Totally opposite of my mom's reaction. But Nicky's like, oh, okay. You really care about him? Yeah. And you sure he really cares about you? I was like, yeah. She was like, okay. She looked out the window for a little while. She said, well, be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. Just be careful. Nicky, I remember to this day. That's when you told me about Adam, I was like, oh, okay.
No, I don't doubt it, because I feel
that's what we doing now.
Yeah, I didn't trust their intentions either.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that Brandie chased me.
I did.
It wasn't me going after a black woman.
Now, when I say chased,
I didn't want to get married ever.
Oh, I beat him. I wore him down. It was ridiculous how bad I chased him. But that's because I saw something in him.
Yeah.
I saw something in Joe that I have never, ever, ever seen in a man before. It was a beauty. It was a humanity.
The blue eyes.
It was a beauty. The blue eyes. I got to observe him. And when I observed him, it did not matter because honestly, Joe was a little bit more masculine than what I was used to. And I just wasn't feeling that. But after I wasn't used to it. But there was a beauty and a humanity in the way that I saw him dealing with other people.
Yeah.
And talking to other people. Joe drew people like a light. And I was like, who is this beautiful human being? I want that. And so I chased that for as long as I could and tried to wear him down. I wore him down, but it was he's the one who changed the long-term thing. Because I could date a white guy. Absolutely. Let's go out, whatever. But as far as trusting a man and trusting their heart towards me and my sons, because it ain't just me. Who do I want to bring this man around my sons? Because they already might not be feeling it so well. That's coming out of me. I'm not saying that they didn't.
Remember Josh's first words?
Joshua asked him, why does he talk like a cow? Josh was a toddler when he met Joe. He asked him, why does he talk like a cowboy? Joe did this. Joe brought
a little bit of a Southern accent.
Joe took us all out to dinner when he was planning to propose. And he talked to the guys. He had this speech and told them, I love your mom. She loves me, but we love you guys. And what matters is that you guys, that we're going to be a family. And do you guys approve of me or something? He had this long speech and the guys just sat, just listened to him talk. And Joe says at the end of the speech, you know, I was tearing up, like at the end of the speech, Joe was like,
Josh.
No, Joe asked, do you guys have any questions for me? Josh is like, yes, I do. Why do you talk like a cowboy? Moment gone. The whole romantic moment was just gone.
And to this day, that's my conversation with the boys. If I ever have something deep to say, they'll let me talk, and then they'll say something funny. It's like they're not even listening.
They do.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's cute. That's cute.
Digress.
I can hear that coming from Josh.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Who wants to answer? Marcus? Marcus, let me hear from you. Do you want me to read the question again? Are you okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you ever,
No, I know the question.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, let me read just so you can, because
Right.
I know. I've never. Okay, so before I met Carmen, so I have a son, a wonderful son that has a wonderful mother. She's African American.
Looks like Jamie Foxx. So go ahead.
Yeah.
And that's weird too, because me and her, they say me and her look just alike. So that's another story. But she's awesome. She's brilliant. Then my oldest daughter, her mom is awesome and brilliant. She's mixed. So I never really dug deep into how strong it is to okay, let me put it this way. The Black family household. That's been something that's been destroyed, not destroyed, but just they tried to destroy it years ago. So, but I didn't get it until later on in life, the importance of making sure that gets repaired. So I don't know if anything would have changed. I doubt that anything would have changed if I had met Carmen, but before I had almost every color in the rainbow as a girlfriend before. And
literally.
But Carmen finally she chased me for a while, and I was like, okay. And then finally I was like, let me set it down.
No.
Well, yes, ma'am. The answer to the question is yes. I did think that, because I just believe in love. My family didn't raise me. My mom and dad didn't raise me as you stay with Black people, even though I'm sure they may have felt that way. They just told me how to love, told me how to be a good guy, good father, good brother, and I appreciated that. And that to me meant I can talk to whoever I want to.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can I throw a question in? Do you think that you would, let's say that we, after everything that's happened now, do you think that you would have met and fallen in, you had to admit, let's say you did meet Adam, you did meet Carmen, you did meet Marcus, you did meet me. Do you think that you would have, your heart would have been in the place to fall in love with your mates now, given the current climate?
Great question.
I think so, for me.
Marcus?
Oh, the Black folks got to answer?
We're in this together, man.
I know, Joe. Big brother Joe gonna kill me. You know what? Honesty?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
The great question.
I don't think so for him.
If it was anybody other than Carmen,
I believe
probably not.
Yeah.
Only
I believe that.
It's just it's easy to get sucked into the negative and bad feelings when you're on the receiving end of kind of the struggle. It'll do a mental job with you, and it's not just a perceived black and white thing. It's a perceived black and Hispanic thing, black and Asian
Black and everybody else.
Yeah.
So, I'm right now I'm extra guarded, and I'm extra. I'm on alert.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but just like I want to protect my people and my culture.
Yeah.
So, if it was anybody other than Carmen, probably not.
It's so funny that you say that, ANet, because I think I said that I made that comment to him. Man, I know if me and you had met this year, we would not be together because of how he's been feeling. I don't think I told him, nah, there's no way me and you would have been together.
Yeah.
During this season, this time, because of how he's feeling. But so to answer your question, for me, I never thought I would date outside of my race because of the way my parents raised me and how traditional they were. I think in high school, I had a crush on one white guy, but that was it. And it was mostly Hispanics, Mexican. And then I remember I had some of my guy friends who were black in high school who did like me and they had a crush on me, but I never saw myself marrying them or being with them. I just thought I was just going to be with a Mexican person. And then till I met Marcus, and then I don't know, I just got to know him.
Everything changed.
It did. No, it did. I mean, it took a while for me to go on a date with him because I was really standoffish and kind of and I remember he told me, he's like, why, you don't like black people? And I said, no, that's not it. My preference is Mexican guys. So
wait, so he guilt tripped you into
dating him?
No, nobody did.
Good stuff there, Marcus.
No, he didn't guilt me. He did a little what we call a takeaway. So Marcus chased me for almost a year, always calling me, showing up to my job, bringing me lunch,
stalker
all the time.
Okay, Marcus.
And I was like, no, let's just be friends. We're cool. Let's just be friends. And then I think one time I kind of told him in a mean way, stop. It's not gonna happen. We're just friends, okay? Let's just be friends.
Come on, sis.
So just stop doing that. You ain't got to do that anymore. And then he actually stopped. He stopped calling me. He stopped showing up. He stopped bringing me stuff. After a couple of weeks, I'm like,
Marcus, that's brilliant.
And then when he
that is brilliant.
You gotta write a book.
We used to work for the same company in the same retail store. So when he came to commitment, I was like, hey, stranger, where you been? You don't call her nothing no more. He's like, you told me to leave you alone. I said,
come on, Marcus.
Do we know each other? I'm sorry.
No, I said, I didn't say to leave me alone. I just said, let's be friends. I didn't say you had to well, anyways. So then we started being friends again. And
that's good stuff.
He asked me out on a date and we went on a date, and ever since then, yeah.
That is good stuff.
Wow. Yeah, Marcus, you were really doing some stuff there.
That's good stuff, Marcus.
Can I say this here? They said once you go, I don't know if I'm gonna say it. Listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Look at Joe.
I'm looking for the comments. Well, you know what they say?
What they say?
They say once you go white, you're never right.
Hey, let me steer this in another direction here.
Don't get me going, Joe.
Who didn't answer Brandie's question and that wanted to?
I actually
go ahead.
Nikki and Adam.
If I would honestly say yes, I've never let politics and I when it comes to relationships, I'm so I don't know, it's difficult to explain, but once if I see you and I like you and you are something that I'm looking for, other stuff that can't come in there. It's politics. If I like you, then even here, it's once I come in the door, Facebook and all of that stuff, it stays outside. So when it comes to my relationships, it's that's in here, that's in here, and I figure that out. And no matter what kind of turmoil I'm going through. Now, I will say that I might have been a different person early in the relationship. I might have been less trusting of him. I might have had still those hangups may have come back. It may have taken a little bit more time before I completely warmed up to him, but I don't think that, you know, politics have never affected me to that degree that, you know, you were once the kind of person that I was looking for, but now you're not, because no, that's not me. So yeah, I still would have, depending on the person.
Okay. Adam?
I totally would not have. I'm sorry.
No, it's true. She wouldn't have.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Adam. Because I sure want to hear this answer.
Now, would I have chased after Nicky? Yes, I still would have.
Come on.
Just because when I saw her, I was like, you know, I was in amazement. So yes, I still
Come on, sis.
I still would have. Now, if we would have met this year, would it have been a lot harder? Do I think it would have been a lot harder for me? Yes, because I think she might have had those hangups, like she said, you know, because of stuff going on. But I still would have tried, you know.
Yeah,
Come on, Adam.
Politics don't really affect him. He doesn't really pay that much attention to climate anyway. So yeah, there wouldn't have been.
Now, you know what I heard? I only heard the difference pretty much with Marcus. Now, I heard you, Brand, but you know why I heard the big difference with Marcus? Because he is a Black man. Mm-hmm. And so I can understand, I think we kind of said this a little bit the last time too. Your outlook is a whole lot different, mm-hmm. you know, than your sister's. And that's understandable. You know, as you guys were talking, you know, on that and giving your responses to that, of course, my mind went back to the Lovings. You all remember the Lovings that had that Supreme Court case. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, and this is not minimizing at all what we're dealing with in today's world, but this has been going on from the beginning of time. You know what I mean? So each century or whatever you want to look at has its own hindrances, if you will, to look at. So then what would help you to prevail? Or I guess, you know, whatever's in your mind, maybe that love, I don't know, maybe like those flowers and the candy, I don't know, you know, would help you to, okay, I'm gonna go for this in spite of. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I would love to hear, you know, others' opinion, maybe do some kind of a poll or research, because that's a great question though. You know, given what we're dealing with now, would you even want to be involved in an interracial relationship? There was probably a couple of months ago, a friend of ours whose child got married, and they got married to, she's Black, and she got married to a young white guy. And I heard comments were like, what in the world is she doing that now for? Because what we in? You know what I mean? What we're faced with. Are you serious? Why would she even do something like that? Or I can imagine how it's going to be for them. You know, so the talks, everything is going to continue. It's not going to stop. And, you know, depending upon what age you're in or what, you know, century you're dealing with, that's what we're faced with. So
and whether you're dealing, we all have to deal with the ugliness that we're going through right now. But are you dealing with it and coming home to somebody you love? Ooh. Or are you talking about why she do blah, 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 but she happy and you sitting there lonely and bitter by yourself, worrying about what everybody else doing?
Exactly.
Petting your three. It's nothing wrong with cats, but mind your business. You know what I mean? Let people love who they, and I'm one to talk because I used to be one of those people, but you know, if she loves him, she's happy, regardless of what they're going to go through. Why do you care? Are you either way? Are you going to help them? No. So mind your business. Right. Let them be happy and you go find somebody to be happy with. If you were happy, you wouldn't be in their business so much.
Uh-oh.
Well said. Well said.
Having said that, if I met Joe in this day and time, no.
That's the truth, though.
Yeah, Brandie and Marcus are so much alike. I'm telling you.
Yeah. No.
Especially with social media, since everyone just
Yeah, because you know what I would do is, you know how beautiful I told you he still is. How beautiful, I was just in awe of how beautiful a person he is. It's a lot of people that I know that I thought were amazing. They could never be. And I just know that white people, yeah. Two people right now that are breaking my heart. Just amazing. And I love, what a beautiful human being. Then when this year came, the end of this year came, the true colors came out. So that's how I would look at him. Right. And I'm trying not to look at white people in general like that. But after you get burned so many times, I love white people. I love my white friends. I love my white coworkers. I love them. And I love our differences and whatever. So I have a lot of, but when this started happening, and sometimes I wish we didn't have Facebook, because I got to see what you really thought, what you really think. And these are people who I thought were beautiful people. So if they were beautiful people and they turned out to be racist and hateful and bitter and ignorant, why would he be any different? True. We don't have a not supersonic, but we don't have X-ray vision to look through the white person and know, oh, no, that one's okay. Oh, no, he looks nice, but we don't have any kind of vision like that. So my thing is, I'm just trying to fall back and protect myself, my race, my Black young men, and I'm a fall back and try to build us, because we need it right now. We're hurting right now. There's no way in the world I would have said, dang, he's fine. He is fine. But that would have been it. We may have been friends, maybe. I don't even know if we would have been close friends, because I would have thought it was a front. So I'm so thankful we met when we did.
Because we're living in untrusting times now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Annette.
Yes.
There's a comment from one of me and Carmen's real good friends. Her name is Cynthia Nelson.
I saw that. Go ahead. You can read it.
Well, you're the amazing host. I'm just here to.
Oh, you don't.
Wait, you're the amazing host, but I want you to know that's on there. Listen, Cynthia says here, but wouldn't segregating yourself from dating anyone out of your race be counterproductive to change?
It would.
I got that question before.
Wow. Okay, we're just gonna leave it at it would.
I agree with her 100%. And it's like, we have to start thinking that way. It's like, I get Black people who I love their just their sense of passion about being pro-Black and our Black people and this and that. But when it comes to stuff like this, things that you say and your mentality, you sound just like those racists that white racists that you have some problem with. So if you got a problem with me being with a white man and I ask you, okay, explain to me what your list of problems is with my white husband, and all you can tell me is you're Black, you shouldn't be dating a white man, look around what's going on. Okay, well, you sound just as ignorant and just racist and just, as anybody from his side who ain't got a good reason to not like me, but he just shouldn't be with me because he's white. So you're right. It's like, regardless of what we're going through, I agree with everything that Brandie just stated. That was 100% accurate. I mean, very well spoken, but at the same time, we have to be open-minded enough to realize that, okay, all white people are not racist. All Mexican people are not racist. If you're to shut them out and put up this wall, you're basically you're continuing what they started. You aren't any different. You're being, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I think I got a little too excited. But
yeah, but you was teaching.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know what though? Can I?
Yes, please go ahead.
I just want to say, give us a moment to heal right now. I want to counter the question. Can you just peek and see what he's whining about? I want to counter the question. Well, that was amazing question by
Cynthia Nelson.
Cynthia Nelson. That was an amazing question. I want to counter. Why did it get bright when Joe left? You notice that?
Yes.
I have no comment.
So it's a little bit opposite, but well, if you don't date outside of your race, then isn't that counterproductive to change? Absolutely it is. However, let us heal and deal with us right now.
Yes.
I'm not trying to change the world. I'm trying to heal.
Right.
I'm trying to, we're experiencing PTSD right now.
Right.
A lot of people we loved us we're now finding out they think we're no more than garbage. A lot of our kids' best friends, they're losing their best friends because they're being hurt and seeing truth. So I'm not trying to change the dating pool right now. I'm trying to change us getting shot in the streets and nobody getting punished for that. I'm trying to change having a leader, I'm not gonna get this show taken off Facebook, but I'm trying to change having an idiot leader who has pretty much made it fashionable to be openly racist and be openly violent to people of color, to women, to grab women by the peas. That's cool. He's basically raised up an army of emboldened racists. I don't mind a quiet racist if you just ignorant or whatever, but you're gonna be bold with it and you're gonna come to me like, so let us heal right now. I'm not trying to change the world as far as dating and we should all love each other. We don't love each other right now. And there's reason for it. There's a reason why we don't love each other. There's a reason why we're not trusting. There's a reason why we're kind of falling back and saying, you know what, let me deal with my race right now. Because that's what makes me feel like home. That's what makes me feel safe. When we get through some stuff, then we can, because I'm all for interracial dating now. But let us get through some stuff and then start holding us accountable for opening our dating thoughts. Because if your mind and heart is not going there right now, then it's just not going there, and it's not your fault.
Right.
You're reacting. You're building up a protective mechanism and bubble to protect your heart from any further pain. And so her question is absolutely valid. But just give us a minute. Let us get through some stuff first before we start holding ourselves to that kind of a, barometer.
That still has restless leg syndrome. Sorry,
you're so nosy. You are super nosy.
You've always had it, and it's just bothering me now.
That's a sister for you.
It is.
All right, but no, that was a great response to that question. Thank you for that. It's almost as if you're saying our focus is on something else right now.
Yeah.
So let us get through that. Let's see. Cynthia said her response to that was, "That's absolutely the truth. Healing is necessary."
Yeah,
Nicole,
we gotta heal.
Yeah. Nicole says, "I still believe that interracial relationships are a movement." A movement that is another visual evidence that love has no color. All right. Interracial relationships will encourage some people to continue being racist, while on the positive side, it will escort, encourage, and welcome people to love all colors of the human race. Blessings to all of you. You go ahead, Nicole. I like that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That was quite poetic, actually.
Interracial relationships right now are like the flower that's growing up through the cement.
Yeah.
Because everything's falling prey. Everything's dying. There are a lot of good things that are dying in the midst of all this hatred. So I agree with her, to still see interracial relationships thriving and starting. If you start an interracial relationship in the middle of this, you a G. Y'all a G for real. Get married now. Do it now, because y'all are not playing and y'all really care about each other. I think that's a great statement.
Yeah, definitely. You sound like you preaching over there, Minister Brandie.
Yes.
Daryl Hall is on. Thank you. Thank you all for joining in. Elder Kevin McGee is on. Robin, Denise Smalley. I'm just trying to go back. Brenda, those that I did not recognize. Marisha, hope I pronounced that right. You know, Dr. Hill has been commenting throughout. So you kind of go back and look at her comments. She is cracking me up on tonight. Listen, what I want to do right now is actually play the spoken word that Elder McGee penned for tonight. And I know we are a little bit after 7. Look at my clock. But let's take a listen to this. You guys let me know if you can hear this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You ever notice how people with no business make it their business to try and direct your business?
See?
They want to tell you how to live your life, what you shall do with your life, and who should be your husband or wife. And as this millennium marches on, we're still fighting this battle that threatens all lives. Do you know where we're going? I think not. You see, when we refuse to accept people for who they are, but we judge them simply for the color of their skin, we shall forever cause wrecks in this life, because we can never go forward while we are stuck in reverse. And while you try to adjudicate husband and wives whose love is not based upon their color, but with their heart, whether black, white, red, brown, purple, or yellow, it doesn't matter. And I fail to see why your heart is hurt because of whom I have chosen to marry and whom I spend the rest of my life with, because guess what? You don't pay my bills. You don't endure my struggles. Therefore, you cannot decide who I shall forever wake up to in the mornings.
Right.
You see, we are living our best life, and if what we have is causing you pain because of deep-seated hate and prejudice, when you see us shopping in the store together or vacationing together, and let me keep this 100% on the real, even worshiping together, then that's on you. As long as you miss us with that foolishness, it will be quite all right. Because we are in this love together, and the racial tension you try to project toward us is weak compared to the bond of our matrimony. So a word of advice to the people of low self-esteem who feel they have to justify their importance by ostracizing those who won't yield to their thinking, and those who feel that their world will come to an end if we don't conform to their idiotic rhetoric and ideas. Here's my message to you. Are you listening? Good.
Sir.
Man.
All
My
you
goodness.
Very well
like
said, all of it.
waste my energy or even my words on a fool.
No, I'm not done.
Right. He said, "Are you listening?"
And then he wasn't done.
Right. He is ridiculous. Now, I love me some Elder McGee spoken word.
It's fire.
This one, and I'm not partial because of the content, but come on, sir.
Yep.
Come on.
That was it right there.
I need a copy of that.
Yeah.
Annette, would you allow me to ask one quick question?
Of course.
Okay.
Little brother.
This question, and I'll do it quick. This question is for Carmen, Adam, and Joe. What can we do? So black people, I believe.
No question.
We have the key to fixing our own healing cycles, even without outside influence. But because Adam, Carmen, and Joe are open-minded, right? There's some of the people out that are non-black that are more open-minded than a lot of people that I know. What can we do? You all see it from the outside. Y'all see us from the outside. What can we do from y'all's opinion that'll help us heal a little bit more from y'all's observation? Make and quickly, because it's almost time to go.
Adam is like he's bubbling over, ready to
I'm trying to think of a way to answer it.
One thing that I kind of tell Marcus, Marcus is very passionate, obviously, and he's an emotional person, especially when it comes to something like this that he's loves and is important to him, and it's affecting him mentally, physically, everything. So there's times where I tell him, get off of social media and stop reading these comments of stupid people, because they're
You a tattletale.
well, it's because there's no stopping. Like, you jumping in, arguing with them, it's a waste of your time, your energy, your soul, your spirit. It takes away something from you. And I know he's just trying to defend, his people, and I salute him for that. But I tell him, like, a lot of times these people want to get a reaction out of you guys. They want to see you jump the gun. And have you ever seen a picture of a dog that's running and he's trying to chase his bird because he's not thinking emotionally, he's hungry, starving, whatever it is, but he just wants to get that bird, but he's over the cliff already. So guess what happens? He falls down and he dies because he reacted. He's reacting out of emotion. And that's one thing me and him, we've kind of taught ourselves, even me, I'm going to include myself on that. Don't be so quick to react out of your emotions, because most of the time it's going to be the wrong thing, especially when it's fear, negative, when you're hurt. So one thing I do tell him, like, just stay off of that social media, at least for a little bit, or like, just because I know what it does to him. I've seen what it does to him. And so that's one thing. I don't know if maybe anybody else would agree, but
that's a good one.
I agree with Carmen fully, and I'm gonna make it quick. But that's what I force myself to do. Is just, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be their answer. My bad. I'm hushing. But I limit my time on social media. I agree with that, 100%.
I would have to agree with Carmen. One, disconnect from outside and not let them influence you. Two, don't try to change everybody. And so focus on you and those in your immediate circle, not the person walking down the street, not all that other stuff. As I see it, like with me, if it don't happen in my backyard, I don't care about it. If it don't happen to my family or right here in my backyard, I don't care, because I can't change you. You step into my backyard, or you step into my family, I can change you.
He said, I'm gonna change you.
I can't, or I'm gonna. You one way or the other.
Good answer. Good answer.
I like that. Adam is determined to take care of home.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Is Joe back?
Joe?
Is he invisible?
There's a question that we're really awaiting your answer for.
As we're waiting for him, but that was a great question, Marcus, because even while we're trying to educate others, it's good for you all to hear that feedback from each other. There's something that one couple
we're on
can
the show
learn
right now.
another of how to handle it, because it's not like it's going away. This unfortunately is something that we're dealing with. And we're hoping to make some kind of a change next Tuesday to kind of alleviate some stuff. But nevertheless, you still have to deal with it. Nicole on here says interracial relationships is a powerful weapon that will eliminate the succession of segregation. Y'all kind of heavy tonight. Nicole's been throwing us some heavy comments. I like that. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, Nicole is the real deal.
I see this. Is he coming? Is he coming? We're trying to await him. No. Are we saying no?
Joe, the question is how would you, being yourself, advise Black people on how steps that they can take to heal? Right?
Yeah, I think it was specifically your spouse, right? Was that
right? What would you say to me to advise me on how to help heal, perpetuate healing? Good, Marcus?
Oh yeah.
Marcus like, okay.
That's not what I said, but
something like that, huh? But this segment in part 2 was definitely key to even start this off. I'm talking until I don't know if Joe's coming, but it's definitely something that I haven't really seen touched on too much, addressed, if you will. Yes. Whether it's on TV or radio, what I really hadn't heard too much about how interracial couples have been dealing with the situation that we're in now. So I mean,
we'll see it though. You'll see it everywhere now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. Get caught in that. We kind of set the pace. Just kidding. No, but seriously. Okay, Brand, I'm right there with you. I got you, girl. But yeah, so I'm glad. What I've said all that to say, I'm thanking you all again for taking time out, to come, again to share. And I think, those who are not in interracial relationships, we've learned something. So thank you. Don't think that you've wasted your time. For last session and this session, we definitely have been helped by it. Does anybody want to give any parting words as we end this on tonight? Anybody have anything else to say? Yes, Marcus.
Annette, you are amazing.
Yes.
I told you, but when we first started, I'm advocating for next year for you to have your TV show because your show is amazing. Yeah. Like amazing.
She's ready for TV.
I'm grateful for you.
She's ready for TV. She's been ready.
Yes, she is.
Been ready. Okay.
She gets the right people around her.
Come on, talk it. Go dream about it. No. Thank you. She know what I mean by that. Thank you. Nicky, again, thank you for not skipping out on this. Time. But
it was my pleasure. I had a really good time.
Why did she just say that to you though?
Because what you said the last show, that you were just sure I wasn't gonna show up until you saw me on the camera. So,
you're like, Adam's gonna be there, but Nicky,
Adam's gonna be there.
No, it was our pleasure. We had a really, really good time.
Good. You all brought a lot to the table, and Adam, of course. I know I was picking on you tonight, but I wanted to make sure I heard from you. You placed a lot on the table tonight as well, so thank you.
Yeah, Adam came through.
Yeah,
Adam came through.
There's Joe.
Okay, Joe. Did you want to say something before we end? Because you've just alarmed me by crawling in.
Thought I was getting robbed. Robbed or audited? Which one?
Audited. Okay, we can do that afterwards. Joe, did you want to respond to that question or just say some parting words before we get out of here tonight?
That was a really deep question, but the honest thing is, part of me says that as a white person, how am I supposed to tell a black person how to heal?
That's good.
That's one part. But the other part of me is that people that I know now and know me, you should be able to come to me with your anger and talk about it. And if you want to talk angry, you're not going to offend me because you're coming to me as knowing me and I'm supposed to be knowing you. So.
Yes.
That's my answer.
I agree.
I like that. That.
So
okay.
Wise.
What was that?
You're so wise.
Yes.
He is.
Marcus kind of hating on Joe.
He just make you fall in love.
Have a problem.
All righty. Okay, all right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching us here on the Facebook Live on tonight, for your interaction, comments, questions, and they were really enjoying you guys on tonight. So I appreciate you all for supporting Mind, Body, and Soul, and for joining us for this special segment. We're going to get out of here and just stay tuned for any promos that we have coming up. We'll let you know about tomorrow night's show with A&D Conversation. Just take a look at your social media, and we'll just keep you updated that way. All right, I am going, what am I doing here? I'm going to play my outgoing music, right? That would be nice, wouldn't it?
ANet.
You could all sing it together.
Oh, wait, did you want to sing it,
No.
Marcus?
So you know I'm going to now, right?
Oh, no. I got it handled over here. Thank you, sis.
Intellectual radio show. Covered very baby. It got a man with ANet. Thank you, God.
That was really wicked. All right, but
you opened the door for that.
You know what I say at the end of every session? Make sure you wash your hands, wear your mask, be safe, and you still, if you have not done so, take time to vote. Your voice matters. Take care, guys. We will see you soon.
Get caught in a net.